This story is one told to me by my grandfather, who was told this story by his own father before he passed. I cannot be 100% confident in the veracity of the facts that are about to be told, since my grandfather told me this story well into his 80s, so many details may seem either wonky or strange. With that being said, I was told this story with the full confidence of my grandfather that it is true. Be my great-grandfather Alberto. Between 18-20 years old. Looking for work in the 20s. Going from place to place with no real luck. Pretty much a wandering hobo. Ends up in Texas. Ends up in a town called El Paso. Decides to stay since he's not only hoping for work, but winter was almost here and he needed to find a place to stay. Fast forward a month or two. He finds work as a janitor/groundskeep for the local school. Nothing wild, but it paid enough to stay alive. One day after his work was done, he decided to double-check his work and make sure he didn't leave anything too dirty. On his look around the building, he runs into this old man. Looks like pig-related. "Hey, you're not really supposed to hang around here, you need help getting home?" "Haven't got a home, don't need one." The old man stands up and looks at Alberto. Almost like he's checking to see if anything is out of place with him. "May I help you?" The old man just smiles and tells him that he's making sure everything is in order. Old man pats him on the back and begins to leave. Soon as Alberto turns around, the man is gone. A bit confused, he simply finishes his work and goes home for the day. Alberto would see the man constantly from then on. Man was cordial and very compliant when he was told he had to leave the premises. Each time the old man would make sure Alberto was in good health. Would constantly ask, "Have you had any fevers lately? Have you felt ill? How is your stomach?" Each time Alberto would answer politely, but always felt as if the man has an ulterior motive behind these questions. Thought what it was never obvious. One day Alberto, who will just type out as Al from now on since it's faster, had fallen ill with a bad stomach virus. Still went to work since he was just that kind of person. When he ran into the man again, the man once again asked, "Is all well with you, good sir?" Al for the first time responded that he was not in the best of health. Almost instantly the man's face sparkled with a smile. "Here, my boy, drink this. It shall make your ailment disappear as if it never occurred." As he said this, he took out a small bottle of clear liquid. Al looked at the liquid and asked the man what it was, obviously very wary. "Trust me, my boy, it will do you no harm. Besides, would you rather be more wary of a cure or your clothing integrity?" the old man said with a hearty laugh. Al, thinking in his mind he had nothing to truly lose, took a swig of the bottle. By Al's own words, it was one of the most disgusting things he had ever tasted. It was so bitter it almost stung his throat. It was so bitter that it began to make him vomit. He vomited for about 3 minutes before it subsided. Angrily he asked the man what was in that elixir and why did it taste so disgusting. The old man simply smiled. "As bitter as it may have been, how does your stomach feel now?" Al hadn't even noticed he felt better. No, more than that, he felt revitalized. Like he had never had the illness to begin with. He felt as if he had just taken a long nap and was better than ever. Al looks at the old man and asks what exactly that was. Old man simply continues to smile and tell him to not worry about it. "Just something I made myself, glad it helped you, my boy." The man left again and Al, besides himself, almost impulsively followed the man. By the time the old man had turned the corner, he vanished. Not a single trace of him was left. Al went back to work with the thoughts of the old man still in his mind. Next time he wouldn't let him get away and would instead ask how he made the medicine. But the man didn't come back. For a few months. Then years. Then almost a decade. The man never returned. Until one day in autumn of 1931. Al had gotten a wife and a family of his own. Had pretty much all but forgotten the old man and his strange elixir. 2 years before my grandpa was born, his brother was born. First child to Al and his wife. One night he fell really ill. This was in the 30s, so even something as simple as a common cold could still fuck you up good. Plus his brother was barely 6 months old. Not enough money to even see a local doctor. Have to rely on simple bed rest and soup since that's all they knew how to do. At one point the kid got to a point where it truly seemed like he wouldn't make it past the night. Al, having no other option, had to try and find anyone who would loan him money to get this kid to a doctor. Ran all over town and no luck. No one even gave him a glance. Getting more desperate, he basically began to break down in the middle of the street. That's when he heard a familiar voice. "Ah, my boy, what ails you? Another bad stomach?" Al turns to see the grizzled old man again. Doesn't seem a day older from the last time he saw him. Al hesitantly tells the old man that his son is sick and needs help. How he doesn't have any money and is getting increasingly desperate. The old man, as his usual self, lets out a laugh and pats Al on the back. "My boy, take me to your son. I can help." Al looks at the old man and begins to explain that this isn't just some stomach virus, this is something much worse. The old man nods and tells him to simply heed his word and take him to the boy. Reluctantly Al takes the man to his son. The old man inspects the boy whilst Al's wife asks him who the old man is. He tells her, he's a man who helped cure him of a sickness once, maybe he can help the kid. Wife understandably looking at Al as if he just lost his mind. Tells her to just trust him. The old man begins to take something out of his jacket. "I say, my boy, you've made quite a life for yourself while I was gone. Beautiful wife, a nice home, and a child? Truly wonderful," the man says as he mixes 2 elixirs from his coat together. He then proceeds to give the child a singular drop of the elixir on his forehead and gently rubs it on the infant. Al looks on in confusion but also hope. Only a few seconds later the baby's cries subside. The wife goes to check their son and she notices his fever is gone. In fact, the baby is sleeping soundly. Happily. No sign that the fever ever existed. Just like that day 10 years ago. It was seemingly a miracle. The old man smiles and gives the elixir he used for the child to Al. "Take this, 1 drop should he ever fall ill again." Al takes the elixir and as he puts it away he notices the man walking out of the house. Al follows him and asks him to wait. Al asks him who exactly he is and how he even knows how to do these things that almost seem like magic. The old man smiles and sits on the outside bench. "I suppose I do owe something of an explanation to you, after all it's only natural to be curious." Al begins to ask him any and every question he can. The old man smiles and calmly answers each of his queries. "What is your name?" "My name? My name? My name, I'm not sure anymore. It's been a while since I've been called anything but old man and vagrant, so names aren't something I follow anymore." "Who are you?" "Just a simple man who likes to travel, to see the world, to learn, and as you can see I've learned quite a bit." "What exactly are those elixirs made of?" "Simple things, bones, plants, natural things that come from the earth itself." "Is it magic?" "You could see it that way, yes, but I like to think of it as science that science hasn't accepted yet." "What does that mean?" "You could say that my science is based off more what we perceive as false or witchcraft. A science that to some seem childish or impossible, but as you've seen today, it is all but impossible." "Where did you learn this from?" "When I was younger I met an old woman, funnily enough not much unlike how I am today. She saved my life with these elixirs and potions, and I, amazed and also somewhat fearful, asked to be taught. which she did with reluctance. "Could you teach me these things?" Heavens no, this knowledge comes not without a heavy price, a price that I could never ask of someone who has a wife and a child. Simply out of the question. What is the price? It comes at the cost of one's own death. As in you can't die? That doesn't seem too awful. Of course not, eternal life seems like a blessing. For the first 100 years. You're over 100 years old? Possibly older by now, my boy. So does that mean you're also invulnerable to harm? Oh no, I can still very much be shot and murdered. I said eternal life, not invincibility. Couldn't you just kill yourself then? It wouldn't matter, I have no soul to cross over with, so it would simply be my end. So does that mean there really is something else after this? From everything I've been taught. Yes. If you're immortal, why are you so old looking? Just because I can't die doesn't mean I can't get older, it just takes longer. Can you cure illnesses and wounds? Of course, it's pretty simple. What can't you cure? This question made the old man stop. For the first time since meeting, he frowned, and looked at Al. I can't cure death. Once a soul has begun to cross, I can't bring it back. I know from experience that life does not like to dwell on itself. What will you do now? Simple, my boy. I continue to wander, continue to learn, until this planet's last breath. Al, without any further questions, simply begins to thank the old man for everything he has done. The old man, once again smiling, pats Al on the back. My boy, I simply did what was needed of me. And with that the old man left without another word. Never to be seen or heard of again. Simply made into a story for his children to hear when they were older, and eventually I heard it. I can't necessarily say I believe it, but I suppose anything is possible. Cheers, you old elixir making man, hope you're still kicking.